Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Chung.
Thank you.
As a nation, I'm truly proud to know that you are a hybrid product of Middle East and also Korea. And understanding that we are losing a lot of our friends to the other competitors outside there, maybe later on Mr. Chung can entertain us a bit to bring back the friends back. Maybe, I don't know whether you can do the Gangnam style after this?
You want to see the Gangnam style? I've been practicing for a while.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
For your next presentation, include me. I'll do the dance, free of charge.
Now, for my presentation, we are running late, and my judge is going to run through this from the national aspiration down to the projects relating to rail infrastructure development, and also how the planning that we have put across into the projects to work towards the sustainable mobility of the people of Malaysia. So here we are talking, I will start off with Malaysian Vision 2020. It's about improving the GDP per capita from 9,700 to $15,000 by 2020. And with that is to focus on to push the nation to be a developed nation status, the people to have this high income and also not forgetting and also to focus on social harmony. So the government understand that moving forward to achieve all this, one of the key areas is about mobility of the people. As country grows, cities grows, then you can see that congestion will be a problem, then productivity of people will go down. So the government decided that to do this and then to consolidate all planning efforts pertaining to land public transport in Malaysia is to form up the Land Public Transport Commission, or SPAD in short. So the commission was formed to ensure that it will provide regulatory framework monitoring and also enforcement to look into the planning for land public transport, and also to provide solutions, vertical solutions and also horizontal solutions when it comes to addressing the issues on land public transport. So here is about how to make public transport to be the people's choice. Because in Malaysia, the tendency to own private vehicles is on the increase. Right now, our private transport model share is at about 18%. We just tracked last year, it was at 20%. And we are targeting for a mode share of nationwide at 40% by 2030, and for Greater KL, meaning the area within the region of the national capital, is to achieve 40% model share by 2020. So to do that and understanding the issues that has been saddled with the formation of the Land Public Transport Commission, so there are plans that we have to look into on how to provide long-term solutions, medium-term solutions, and also the short-term solutions, or the quick wins that we can work on. So for those who have not been there, Malaysia is situated north of Singapore, and to the north of Malaysia is Thailand, and on the island of Borneo, we have two states there, Sabah and Sarawak, and Brunei is saddled between both states. So how do we transform public transport that we have looked at? We understand that issues on how to address the problems must be looked into seriously, but we do not have much time because the expectation of public is growing high and high on the daily basis. We keep telling the public that we are putting up something which is practical and logical in sense that can be implemented. And we keep telling the public that the Commission does not perform magic show. We cannot provide overnight solutions. We have to think about long-term and sustainable solutions to move on. So this is about, if you look at the master plan, is to look at the macro level policies and plans. And in terms of policy is to ensure that is the transformation trusts are in place, and also to provide some guiding principles so that it will be adopted and also implemented by various agencies. And cutting across all this, when it comes to the plans and proposals, is to ensure that we do not just focus into specific areas. This is trying to segregate the country into regions, provide solutions for the region, and also in terms of inter-region connectivity as well. So this is how we map out in terms of, when I mentioned about the region just now, we have the capital region, the Greater KL or the Klang Valley. Then we have the Iskandar, which is down south near Singapore. And we have north, Penang, and also to the, on the island of Borneo, we have for Kuching and also Kota Kinabalu, state capitals for Sabah and Sarawak. And we have other state capitals that are being grouped into region as well. And then we look into sectoral plans to address the issues of freight, rail-based, and other road-based vehicles. And to do all this is to stack everything together and put the priority in terms of which will be given higher focus, and then what can contribute or to complement some of these plans, and what are the foundations that we have to set forth. For example, the plans will be focusing more on the interchange and integration priorities as well, so that the investment that we are planning to put in can be sustainable in that sense. So here, moving forward after this, is just I will focus on Peninsular Malaysia first, what we have plans for Peninsular Malaysia, and also then as a region, Greater KL, what are the plans that we have put forward for Greater KL itself. So this is Peninsular Malaysia. Right now, you can see the tracks that is operated by the National Railway Company, KTMB. It goes from north right down to the south, and in the center, it just spur up through central peninsula to the east coast. There are some improvement works that we are planning for this line itself. And putting across all the projects that we have until 2030, it's about 160 billion ringgit, about 55 billion US dollars. And those are the timelines that we have anticipated. There will be more plans that will be included as we move on, refining the plans that we have. What is important here when we draw up this plan is to look to ensure, first of all, it's not just about putting new rail infrastructure into the plan. It is first is to look into on how to make best and improve the current existing infrastructure that we have. Once we have satisfied the conditions, then we work to prioritize and select the projects to ensure that the higher priority projects will be given focus for implementation. And thirdly is to ensure that that all these projects, the delivery will be streamlined, so that is to also to manage the resources that we have. This is not about churning out projects and then provide a gap, a vacuum later on. So on how to roll out and then to ensure that productivity will be sustained here as well. So this is again the network across the peninsula from the existing network that we have. These are the timelines on what has been completed for these tracks of rail network. And for future, we are looking at, if you look currently for Malaysia, on the west coast. The west coast attracts a lot of economic activities, and the spillover happens vertically up and down. There's no conduit to provide the spillover to the eastern side of the Peninsular Malaysia, so we are putting out a plan to create another line that will be able to provide, to act as a conduit to support the spillover and move over some of the effects to the eastern side of the Peninsular Malaysia, and to grow and help grow the area to be new economic growth areas. Another line that we are looking at here for Peninsular Malaysia is the high-speed line connecting the central region to the southern region. And the plan here is to ensure that all the cities in between that we have there is to come, we have to plan for individual socio-economic plans for all of the stops there so that it is not another rail line. This is to ensure that new conurbation or to expand the boundaries of each of the areas with suitable economic activities which are already running at maybe slower speed currently. So we have to put up something that can generate and more effective activities along the line. So for that, something about that line is a high-speed rail connection. What we have done so far for the line is that we have done the feasibility study. The red box is already completed. The second box, the green box, right now just about to conclude. We are putting up a report back to the government to ensure that all issues are being looked into. The point here is that the country is going to invest into this line, and then the government will want to see that the risks are being mitigated, the economic risks are being mitigated well in advance, and that there will be sufficient buffers to ensure that there will be minimal leakages from the investment. And you can see the other boxes are the future programs that we have in line when we have satisfied our own self that we are ready to go for the line. So in terms of the value creation for the high-speed rail is some statistics about how long it will be. Currently, the travel time between the two areas, the central area and the southern area, will take by rail, the conventional rail will take about 4 to 5 hours. With the high speed, it will be 1.5 hours. That is the express service. And then you have the transit service that will stop at the major areas. And this is another point that for each line, for each new railway infrastructure, we make it compulsory upon ourselves to ensure that we can provide justification for such investment. So we have to look into the contribution of GNI from the project, and then what is the value proposition in terms of enhancing some of the major conurbation throughout the line, and also is to enable to support other entry point projects from the national key economic areas, which I will touch a bit after this on the NKAA. And we have also performed a benchmark, and we found that the stretch about between 300 to 400 kilometers long is actually a sweet spot as compared, if we were to compare to other high-speed, established high-speed projects around the world. So that is, I've done basically a quick run-through on what we have plans for the regions and also inter-regions connectivity. Here is just to go into one of the example of the region that we have planned for, which is the Greater KL. So Kuala Lumpur is the capital city of the country, and the region itself contributes to about 37% of the nation's GDP. And I mean, currently we are going through rapid development in terms of infrastructure, and then to ensure that all these are aligned towards an integrated, comprehensive, affordable, and also comfortable public transport system. The other challenge is that we know that the population growth will be from 6 million in 2010. It will grow to about 10 million by 2020. So there are issues that we know will surface that we have to provide solutions today. And the other issue is not a problem here. It's something that is something that we have realized that we have improved in terms of urbanization. If you look into the central region attracts about 88% of urbanization, and goes down to the eastern region at 60%. Cutting across the whole country, urbanization is at 70%. and the rural folks contribute to about 30%. And this is something that we have to face daily to explain to the rural folks that why are we not putting much focus or concentration in terms of providing public transport solutions for rural areas. Something that we cannot explain in terms of these kind of facts. We have to explain in language that those people can understand, meaning that there are solutions which are practical and suitable for their needs. We cannot be providing a metro system in areas that will not provide or be supported by sufficient demand data, for example. So those are the things that we have to articulate and communicate to the people. So this is the NKA, just to show that of all the NKAs that you have there, down Greater KL is expected to contribute about 122 billion ringgit in terms of incremental GNI. And most of it will be based on public transport infrastructure. So this is what we have planned for Greater KL. Some is already off the ground, some will be implemented, and all these are going to be completed by 2030. So this is the LRT extension, the line, another LRT extension line. We have the MRT line 1 being implemented now. This is the MRT line 2 that we are finalizing the report by this month. End of this month, we are going to present it to the cabinet. This is MRT line 3, the same timeline in terms of project delivery to be presented to the cabinet. Then we have another, in the middle there is the monorail extension. Then we have down the Putrajaya, the new administrative capital for the country, another line there. Then we have one line, this is the green line, is basically to provide, is dedicated for freight. Currently the freight trains are moving into the city center, and it's slowing down the other commuter trains. So we're putting a bypass track to divert the freight trains out of the center direct to the western side, to the port. And this is the last line that we have for the LRT line 3, again to connect to the western side of the capital. So for MRT, we know in our situation, the problem that we're facing today in terms of numbers of private vehicles being introduced on the roads, we are putting strong resistance to any new road infrastructure that will go into the center, because this is not about providing road space for the vehicle. This is about how to relieve the pressure on the city center from private vehicle, because the area is already up to the capacity. So something which is a bit difficult for us, but we are pushing ourselves to ensure that the government can appreciate and support us to prevent more direct road spaces into the city center. And for that, we have to provide alternative solutions, and one of them is the MRT. So like I mentioned just now, whenever we put up a new proposal or project that will cost the government into billions of ringgit, we have to justify in terms of the benefit for the project. Here, for the MRT, we look into the opportunity for employment, 130,000 during construction itself. And then is also direct GNI contribution from start of construction until the completion and also into operations, about 3 to 4 billion ringgit per annum. And then we look into also into the appreciation of property value in terms of numbers of new constructions or development areas within the line, which then will increase the gross development value itself to about 3 billion per annum. And lastly, is about the productivity of the people. Right now in Kuala Lumpur, if you drive the trend is that if it's on a Friday afternoon and if it rains, then you will be stuck in traffic for 2 hours, for example. So if there are a few thousand people stuck, there's a lot of wastages there. And with this new improvement that we are introducing, that will relieve the wastages and then provide productivity, increase productivity in terms of the hours for the people, and that will be translated into time savings of about 20 billion per annum. So overall, for the project itself, how we justify the thing is that we say that by 2020, the GNI contribution from the project to the country is about 21 billion ringgit. So those are the figures that we have to work out. It's not just something that we plug from the air. We have to work out all the minor details and then to provide with confidence the data that we have in terms of moving forward all new projects. We have to justify in terms of the returns on the investment that we are putting in. So this is the MRT line that I show you just now. It's about 51 kilometers. And the challenging part here, because it cuts across into all established areas. So it's a bit difficult to go through the lines, but we have completed all the land acquisition within a year. Completed meaning that acquired and paid, meaning that all the compensations are being paid to the landowners. So, and to improve that also, we have also moved into another difficult territory that we said to the government that we have to change our National Land Code. The Land Acquisition Act will have to be improved, which we are working right now to change the land law, meaning that whenever new projects will come in, the first option for landowners, they will be given two options, whether they sell off outright or they can coexist with the project, meaning that they will give their land for construction, but they will not surrender the title or ownership, but then they can enjoy the benefit of both, which is, I think, is working well and being accepted by the public in Malaysia. So now, just to show a bit to close off this, just to show the project. Let's see whether this works or not. This is something on the MRT, and I just walked you through to some of the new development areas within the line itself. This is the capital city with the twin towers in the middle. These are the major areas, populated areas, and also the commercial areas. Right now, we have two LRT lines, the blue line and the yellow line, at the fringe of the city center, providing connectivity. And then the MRT will come in just to complement what we have done. This is the line that we have gone through. This is the first, you can see all the white blocks coming up, a new development area, a mixed development area. Then if you have to go outside of the golf course, it's difficult to go across the golf course. Then from here on, it will be underground, difficult terrain for underground works. At KL Central, the transport hub, there will be new development coming up as well. Some are under construction today. One of another new development is another tall tower in Kuala Lumpur. Then this is the new international financial district for Kuala Lumpur. It's being, earthwork have started for the area. And for Cochrane, another new mixed development area, retail and also residential. And it ends at a place down there, and this will be connected to what I showed just now, the Putrajaya monorail later on, once we have established and finalized the plan for the monorail. And with that, I thank you. Shukran for your attendance.